157. Troy Heilman getting the major win for Carolina. 8-7 now, the team score after the major for Heilman. Joey Moon for North Carolina and Jake Faust for Duke. This is, I think, going to be one of the matches of the night.
Yeah, this could turn out to be an incredible match. Jake Faust, a tough wrestler. This guy, when he's on the top of his game, he is almost impossible to beat. Joey Moon, also a very tough wrestler, and he has proven it time and time again. He's beaten a lot of tough guys, so as Jake has as well.
Faust is 8-2 on the year, 6-2 in duels. Moon 12-11 on the year, 5-7 in duels.
And here they're hand fighting a lot, filling each other out. As you get towards the heavier weights, you see more of the hand fighting. It's more of a technique game. You try to knock your guy off balance, or move him around a little bit to get the advantageous position in the takedown. Moon shoots, and Jake just pulls that arm right up. He's got the overhook here. And people who do Greco or throw here can do a lot with an overhook or an underhook. Moon goes for a trip. Jake's not easy to take down here. Moon elevates the leg. Jake's trying to stomp his foot down to the ground and hits a standing switch here. So he's going to scoop behind, and he's got the two because he's got control of the hips, and he's underneath both of the arms. Yeah, the referee tried to give it to the UNC.
Yeah, the referee accidentally held up the wrong hand. It goes by the wristbands. You're noticing the red and the green. And obviously that was supposed to be for Faust. He held up the red wristband instead. The score is correct, though, on your screen. 1:35 to go in the first period. 2-0 in favor of Faust. Moon down. Faust will try to add to 9 seconds of riding time.
And Faust, he's a very calm wrestler, very technical wrestler. He likes to take his time. Moon, with a bit of a funk roll there, comes out and gets the reversal for 2 points to tie the match. But Jake Faust, he's not going to get frustrated here. He's going to get back to his match, get back to his basics and look to improve. Moon trying to capitalize on it, get some riding time in his favor. He gets a big mat return there.
Moon has eliminated all of the riding time for Faust and has gained a couple of seconds for himself. 2-2 to score. But Faust really just starting to find his stride, was banged up for a lot of the year. Solid against Virginia and Old Dominion. Starting to get to his offense better, according to Coach Lanham. And for Joey Moon, really the first time he's had an opportunity to be in the starting lineup. Coach Scott saying it's been much more about consistency. He's always hit the talent, but he's doing it on a regular basis, and that's how you earn yourself a spot on the mat.
Yeah, a lot of times, even if you win a wrestle-off, a coach could wrestle the other guy if he thinks that guy will perform better out on the mat, because some guys, they do well in the room, but then they get out on the mat and they're not performing quite as well. Joey Moon, though, he's trying to find that consistency, trying to find his stride and improve so that he can stay in that starting lineup. And Jake here, he was a little bit banged up, and he's back on the mat, and he has been wrestling very well as of late. His match against Virginia, he looked phenomenal.
Stalemate is called, 3-2 after Faust got the escape. Under 20 seconds to go in the first period. This one as advertised thus far. 8-7 is the team score. Duke winning at 25-33. Carolina returning the favor at 41-49. And at the end of the first period, 3-2 the score. Faust will start down.
Yeah, Jake's one of those guys that he's tough to hold down, but when he's on his feet, you better watch out because he's got some killer shots.
Let's see what Moon can do. Faust is up on his legs, or on his feet, I should say.
Yeah, and Moon's got the arm locked up, which makes it hard. And here, if you don't return the guy to the mat, you will get hit for stalling, and that's what just happened to Moon. Moon got his first stall warning, so another stall call will give Faust a point, and so he elected to just let him go because he couldn't return him to the mat to avoid another stalling call.
It's almost 1.5 points there for Faust because he's halfway to earning a stall point. 30 seconds of riding time for Moon, so he's sort of halfway to that point if you want to look at it that way. 1:20 to go in the second period. Faust with a 4-2 lead.
And Faust here, he's smart, so he he works his ties and works to catch the guys off balance to get the takedown there. Moon had a tight front headlock there, and so they called the stalemate.
Faust will adjust the headgear. Minute 9 to go in the second period. And after the stalemate, wrestlers will return to the center of the mat.
And he gets the headgear back on. Sometimes it's hard to get those snaps going. Both guys here hand fighting hard, and the hand fighting might just look like they're slapping around, but snapping the guy down, pulling his head down, makes the guy carry your weight. It tires their neck out, but it also helps to open up shots. Both these guys pretty evenly matched in hand fighting, as we've seen a few stalemates here.
40 seconds to go in the second period. Moon with 30 seconds of riding time, but also a stall warning. Faust has not been called for one just yet. Good crowd here at Card Gym. They're on the campus of Duke University for this Duke versus North Carolina rivalry match.
Every year, no matter where it's at, we get a good crowd coming out. There's a lot of UNC fans here as well that came down. It's just down the road.
That's a big-time takedown for Moon.
That's going to tie the match here.
5 seconds of the second period.
He got saved by the bell there for another stall call.
Yeah, needed to work his way up above the hips.
That's right, yeah. The referee was swiping. He didn't get quite to 5, though.
Big-time swing there for Moon. Now he's down with an opportunity to escape and take the lead. Also has 34 seconds of riding time. We'll see what Faust can do here. The roll by Moon. Faust maintaining control for now.
Moon comes up with the leg there. So Faust threw a leg in, but wasn't able to maintain control. He still has control here. And now Moon's going to get the escape.
So Faust was able to take that riding time down to 13 seconds, so that may not weigh in here. However, Moon was able to take the 5-4 lead. Faust needs a takedown. Heilman working from an advantage at this point.
Yeah, so Moon may not stall, but not be quite as active because he does have the lead. Jake, on the other hand, he's got to push it hard here. He's got a minute left to get that 2-point takedown.
Moon's got to be careful, though, because he already has that stall warning, so any perceived stalling would tie this match up.
That's right. That'll make it anyone's match right now.
Under a minute to go. Could we see our first overtime match of the evening?
It is possible. Moon gets in on a takedown, but Jake, he goes to the crotch lock and he's scooting behind here. Moon coming out the back door, and this is a dangerous position for either guy. Anything can happen here.
Faust has a grab of the left foot of Moon. 24 seconds to go.
And the referee is not going to call.
There's the stalemate.
Yeah, he wasn't calling the stalemate quite yet because both guys they're both in a position to score at that point, but after, neither one of them progressed for a moment, he calls the stalemate. Jake really attacking hard, in on a shot, circling behind.
Has 5 seconds to try to get it. 3 seconds, Moon hanging on for dear life. Could not get control, and North Carolina gets the win at 157.
That was incredibly close. Jake almost had the takedown there.
What a win for Joey Moon and the Tar Heels.
That's going to put them up in the team score 10-8.
And that's probably the first match that you might say went against the grain, went against what you might have expected on paper.
Yeah, see, that's what he's working to try and improve upon. But when he's wrestling at his best, he's a very tough wrestler.
It's Michael Wright for the Blue Devils. And it's Devin Kane for the Tar Heels. Kane, a true freshman really strong. Good win against Virginia. And this has been a really tough weight for the Blue Devils this year. Just 1 in 15 total at the weight. So they're just looking for somebody that's gonna fight out there on the mat.
Yeah, they're just looking for the guy who's gonna, get out there and score team points, try to get some wins here. Mike he's one of the seniors. He's a tough wrestler. He's very strong, but Kane is no slouch.
Yeah, Kane, one of 2 true freshmen in the lineup for the Tar Heels. Future is bright in Chapel Hill. Wright has been described as a scrapper.
He's
Coach Lanham.
He is a scrapper. He's a guy that he'll never give up in a match. He'll always fight hard.
4 near fall points. It looked like.
He has the 4. He still had the same tilt combination, the lock. So as soon as he moves off of that, the referee gives him the 4 points. And sometimes guys they'll briefly let go. They'll go back to the same move if they know it's going to work, because you can't just keep tilting unless you let go in between to get the points awarded.
6-0 the score. Riding time officially over a minute. And about 1:20 to go in the first period. And certainly you would imagine that Kane will look for either the pin or the tech here at 165.
Yeah, he's going to be looking for bonus points to widen the lead for UNC, but Mike can't count him out just yet because he's going to fight.
Under a minute to go in the first period. And Michael Wright is on the board. Gets the 1 point for the escape with 40 seconds to go in period number 1.
Both guys here hand fighting, looking to get to their offense.
Good shot there by Kane.
He's in deep, but he hasn't
no control yet.
Yeah, hasn't got the points. He's only got 1 leg there. He's switching off. He's got the ankle, but he doesn't quite have control of the hips. There he gets the 2 right at the end of the period.
Yeah, and with 1 second left, Kane is awarded the takedown.
Kane defers. Mike chooses down.
8-1 the score, 9-1 if you include the riding time, which is 1:39 to the good if you were Devin Kane. Wright starts down.
It's caution on Mike. Referee just telling him to hold his horses, wait for the whistle.
And you can tell how critical that start is.
That first move is essential for both wrestlers. Mike
Wright
gets up
to his feet, but back down again. Kane still on top.
He's got a deep half. He got 1 swipe, and he's got more now. He's got Mike on his back, and he gets the pin. That's 6 points.
Big time team score. It's as good as you can do. If you're Devin Kane, you get 6 points for your team. You get the pin. And North Carolina, 16-8 now in terms of the team side of things. This is, I think, going to be a really interesting match at 174. Ethan Ramos for North Carolina, number 6 in the country. Connor Bass comes in unranked, but Coach Glenn Lanham just saying he's such a hard guy to score against. He's got heavy hips. It's hard to move him around. Ramos is so active. It's just going to be, I think, really interesting to see who's able to sort of impose themselves in this match at 174.
Yeah, that's right. Ramos, he's a scoring machine, and Bass is able to slow a lot of those types of wrestlers down. So we'll see what he's going to try to do here.
Ramos, an All-American 2 years ago. Bass, Coach Lanham thinks, is a potential national qualifier. Pretty much qualified the weight already.
Bass he's been in and out of the rankings this year. He's a tough wrestler. He bumped up from 157 to 174, so he's a bit small, but he's fast and he's using a lot of his technique and able to slow some of those bigger guys down and work to his techniques here. And Ramos, he's a monster. The guy, he never stops moving, never stops scoring. He's always attacking.
Ramos is 16-6 on the year, 10-2 in duels. He's got 3 majors and a tech fall to his credit as well. Bass is 16-9 on the season, 4-5 in duels. More than a minute into this one, still without a score.
Both guys here hand fighting. Ramos has gotten a couple snaps to front headlocks. Seabass goes for a throw by there, and they're going to circle back towards the center.
Looks like Bass might have gotten poked in the eye a little bit.
Oh, Ramos in on a low single there. Bass fighting hard, so he's sprawled. When you sprawl, you want to get your hips down on top of the back of the guy's head. Bring his lock up to your hip, because your hip is stronger than your knee. Ramos, on the other hand, he's going to try to circle behind, hook that leg, and now he's going to fight to get the left ankle of Bass to try and get the takedown. Bass,
you saw him reach for the left leg there as a second swipe.
Bass is going to try to use that hook to stalemate it out.
That's basically a win for Bass in that situation. And there you saw, I think, a little bit of what Coach Lanham was talking about, the heavy hips, just sort of leaning on Ramos, and Ramos couldn't hook him around. There you see Ramos.
Bloody nose.
Leaving some blood, yeah, on the mat. You know the guy's hard to score on when you're in the advantageous position and you come away bloody.
Yeah.
So Ethan Ramos getting some work from the trainers. We've seen somebody for each team now. Treated for some blood on the deck. That'll get wiped up. Coaches will talk to their athletes. And we've got a buck 0-2 to go here in the first period. No score.
And Bass, he's looking to wrestle a smart match here. Sometimes you go out there and you just try to score as many points as you can. Here he's wrestling smart. He's trying to pick his battles and make the most of every moment here. Ramos in on a deep shot.
And that'll be a takedown. First points.
He powers through. He powers through on those double legs on a lot of guys. And Ramos is very good on top. But Seabass here, he's fighting hard, gets the escape.
Ramos trying to throw Bass, and it almost looked like Bass had bricks in his singlet. I mean, he just couldn't even lift him off the ground, much less throw him down.
Yeah.
Gets credit for the escape, so 2-1 the score. And just get the sense that Bass is a dense individual.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it.
He is. He's a brick wall wrestler. He's hard to score on, hard to push through, but Ramos...
If anybody can, it's Ethan Ramos.
Ethan Ramos he's like a human freight train. When he gets those feet running, it's hard to stop him. He was in on another deep shot. Wasn't able to score before the end of the first period there.
Bass likes to start down, so he'll look for what will be the tying escape to start the second period. 2-1 the score. Ramos in front.
Ramos he's a tough rider, and he is very good on top. Gets a lot of tilts, a lot of points on top. And Seabass here, he's peeks out through. Ramos going for a backflip, and Seabass, that brick wall, stops it, gets a 2-point reversal there. That's huge. That gives him the lead here.
That was nearly spectacular for Ramos, and instead turns into a 1-point deficit. The nation's number 6 having to come from behind here. Bass carving away at that riding time that Ramos had accrued. 3-2 the score. here at 174, a critical match, especially, I think, for Duke.
Yeah,
the Blue Devils trailing 16-8 at this point. Carolina, a couple bonus points in previous wins. This would be a huge win if Connor Bass is able to get 3 team points for the Blue Devils here, but obviously a ton of work still to go.
That's right, and he's tough on top, but and he's got incredible hook in the leg, and he's trying to pull to get his head on the other side of that knee, and when he gets there, if he can get his left arm through the body, he will get the 2-point takedown. But until then, Seabass still has control.
32 seconds to go in the second period. Riding time nearing 40 seconds now for Connor Bass.
This is a weird position, and Bass is one of those kind of guys that, he's Ramos looking for a defensive pin here. He gets the 2-point reversal, 2-point near fall. That was a weird call by the ref. So you get the 4-point swing.
Points for Ramos in that exchange. Bass does get the 1. He's got 42 seconds of riding time. Obviously, we can't hear what the referee is calling. It's hard to tell what he called there. Ramos is down now as well, so he's got a chance perhaps to earn another point via the escape.
It was a bit confusing because he called the near fall so quickly, so I was wondering if he got the near fall and the reversal, and he did, as it gives him the 4-6 lead. But Bass, came right back up and got the escape there before the end of the period.
It was a big escape for Bass. Now Ramos trying to get out from Bass's grip.
Gets a swipe, and he's right on the verge of getting that 1 minute for riding time for Bass.
He's into the minute now, so riding time is in the favor of Connor Bass. Certainly not secured by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a minute 10 and counting.
Ramos here looking to get another reversal. He's got both legs, and he gets the reversal there. So Bass needs to work his way up here. Referee swiping, and Ramos climbs in the nick of time there.
Yeah, it looked like it was about 4.5 seconds. 8-4 is the score. Riding time is going to dip underneath a minute. That's the second time we've seen Bass on top and Ramos score points.
Yeah, and Ramos, he's an animal. He doesn't stop moving when he's on top, bottom, or neutral. He's constantly working to score.
Mission accomplished there for Ramos as he gets the riding time under a minute. Bass needs to make something happen on offense. Ramos,
he's in on a deep shot here. No points yet because he's only got the one leg, and Bass is able to fight out. Ramos switches to the other leg, and those are those heavy hips of Bass here weighing down on Ramos's head, making it very hard for him to score. He gets a 2-point takedown to take a 5-point lead. And
it's so interesting because a lot of Ramos's takedowns in this match have not been sort of your traditional run around the back of the guy. It's been from these more defensive positions. It shows his versatility, even when you sort of think you have him in at least a neutral position. Maybe not necessarily an advantageous position for you, but you don't think it's an advantageous position for him, and all of a sudden the red wrist guard goes up with 2 points.
Yeah, and it's a testament to Bass. He's able to take a guy who's ranked highly and force him to fight for every point that he gets.
10-5 the score. Riding time not a factor. Then Ramos comes away with the win over Bass. 3 points for North Carolina. Makes the team score 19-8. And the Tar Heels have won 5 matches in a row. 184, Alex Schenk versus
Elijah Kerr-Brown.
Yeah, we'll see the brother of a the team wanted him back. He wanted to come back. Everybody thought it was probably best for him to shift his focus temporarily. So he's trying to work the rust off. A talented guy, but obviously a year away from the mat is going to hurt.
Yeah.
Shade comes to North Carolina from Grand Canyon. They dropped the program, so he needed to find a place. He needed to find a home, and he's found one in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, and Farinaro he refocused, and Coach Lanham, he's not one to give a lot of second chances, but Farinaro was the kind of guy. He took some time off, came back, rededicated himself, and so coach let him back on the team. And Daniel, he's a tough guy too, so he transferred in, to UNC. And Coleman Scott's not just going to take anybody on his team. He had to, show some promise and prove himself so that Coleman could see some potential in him.
Shade 13-11 on the season, 7-5 in duels. It's another match that Duke has to win. Blue Devils trail by 7 in the team score. You can only get 6, even with Jacob Kasper, the number 4 heavyweight in the country, looming. He can only get 6, and that's if he were to pin Cory Daniel, and that's no easy task.
Yeah.
So Duke having to stay alive here, and it's on the shoulders of Luke Farinaro, and of course, Daniel Shade can clinch it for the Tar Heels, at least from a team perspective.
That's right. He gets the referee going bonkers there, giving 2 to everybody, but only Shade gets a 2-point takedown.
You almost get the sense that referee maybe is used to wearing red on his right and green on his left. Maybe he put them on wrong today or something like that, but
it's possible.
Shade with the 2-0 lead. Farinaro underneath Shade, who is starting to build up some riding time.
Yeah, he's got a power half here, which is painful. He's got, got that one leg in, and he's putting all of his hip pressure into Farinaro's low back. Kind of trying to glue his hips to the mat. Farinaro here is trying to, he's on his stomach and he's fighting, but he needs to work up and be active in trying to work for an escape so he doesn't get hit for stalling. He does that there. But Shade, he's tough on top. He's constantly trying to break him back down and get those near fall points because he wants the win, but he also wants major decision win or tech or pin.
Riding time is up near a minute. Farinaro doing well to get out of what looked like it was about to be a very precarious situation.
Yeah, a bit of a stack there.
Under a minute to go in the first period. 2-0 the score in favor of Daniel Shade. Riding time well over a minute, and Shade has dominated most of this first period.
Farinaro has gotta find some hand control and work up to his feet. He does that there, and Shade kind of just lets go.
Farinaro gets the point for the escape. 20 seconds to go in the first period. Shade looking to tack on another takedown. Farinaro looking to try to answer with one of his own.
And Shade's working that, he's pulling the head down and digging underhooks. And Farinaro here, he's got a circled center because he was, kind of backing up, but then he had a little flurry there at the end.
After the first period, 2-1 the score in favor of Shade. Minute 26 of riding time for the North Carolina Tar Heel. So Farinaro needs the escape and needs it quickly.
He needs to get up and out quick. Shade looking to stop the first move. Farinaro, funky Granby roll there, gets the 1 point to tie the duel, or tie the match.
2-2 the score. Shade trying to get back to work and does. 2 points for the takedown.
He's got a 4-2 lead, 5-2 with the riding time if he maintains it there. Goes for a little bow and arrow cradle there. So he dropped down to the leg there, the ref's counting. But what he's trying to do is he's dropping to the leg. He wants Farinaro to look in, turn into it, so he can jump up into a cradle.
1:20 to go in the second period. 4-3 the score. Almost 2 minutes of riding time for Shade.
Shade's really working those underhooks here. He's hooking and working those to get in on his shots.
Farinaro with a shot, but Shade able to run around it and get control for the 2 points.
Shade's going to let him up. He's going to try and go for the
The 1 point, in essence, sort of takedown,
right? Yeah,
if you will.
He gets another 2 there.
So it's 8-4, and then quickly up for 1. 30 seconds to go in the second period. Over 2 minutes of riding time.
Farinaro here, he's trying to work to his ties, but he's hand fighting really well. He spins behind, he's going for that cradle. He's got it locked up. Farinaro needs to let go of the head, and he needs to kick his foot away from his head because he cannot get pinned here.
And that is it. Farinaro is pinned by Daniel Shaden. With that, the Tar Heels lock up the team win. Shaden gets the individual win. 25-12. Now the score here in Durham.
And that gives them the team win, but now we get to see Jacob Kasper come out and wrestle.
Two of the lighter heavyweights that you will see. Neither of these guys sort of the lumbering 250, 260 pounders. Kasper comes in, the number 4 ranked heavyweight in the country. A lot of these fans that are wearing dark blue tonight here to see him. Cory Daniel opposes him for North Carolina. For Daniel, 16-11 on the season, 5-7 in duels, so he is no slouch. But Kasper comes in 25-1 on the year, 10-1 in duels.
And Kasper, he's always got a fire in him. He's always out there to wrestle. Pin to win is his mentality.
He's got a little swag to him. He's got some confidence to him. Took last year off, did a ton of training out in Colorado Springs with the USA folks.
Yeah, he's wrestling with the Greco Olympic team. He competed at the Pan Am Games for the U.S. He's on the Olympic ladder. He's an excellent wrestler. Great upper body. Throws, likes to toss people.
Number 4 on that Olympic ladder that you just alluded to.
Shoots from open space, but Cory Daniels, he's a heavy guy. He's a quick stalemate.
No scoring yet, less than a minute into the first period. Again, North Carolina has wrapped up the team win.
Kasper looking to close the deficit, but also, even though the team lost, he's still got to get out there and wrestle as hard as he can because it's a conference match, and that factors into the seeding for the ACC tournament.
See both wrestlers exchanging slaps to the head there.
Yeah.
Don't know that Kasper appreciated that very much.
Yeah.
I don't really think that Cory Daniel cares.
Yeah.
Nor should he.
Yeah, the big boys, they get physical, and you can't be afraid to get hit in the head or hit someone else.
Minute 20 to go in the first period. Kasper looking for that right ankle. Daniel looking for the same. Driving Kasper to the edge of the circle. Daniel stalking Kasper, and they're both outside of the circle.
Kasper on a shot. Daniel goes double underhooks. Kasper's not the kind of guy you want to tie up with, though, because he does throw very well. Going for a Polish there.
But you were a Greco guy yourself, and so you're a sort of a kindred spirit with Kasper, perhaps at opposite ends of the weight class lineup.
Yeah.
Although Kasper did wrestle at a lighter weight a couple of years ago.
That's right. He was at 184 before bumping up to heavyweight, and he did it. He put on a lot of muscle, and his style has lended him well in the heavyweight weight class.
20 seconds to go in the first period.
I was a Greco wrestler. Loved it, and I love watching other Greco guys especially in folk style, because you don't see a lot of throwing in these NCAA matches. And Kasper's in on that leg, really pushing hard on the knee, drives through to try and get the takedown, but Daniel is able to fight it off there for the end of the first period.
Good job there by Daniel to escape without surrendering any points. Kasper and Daniel head to the second period, tied 0-0.
And
Duke challenging, perhaps trying to see if that was a takedown at the end of the first period. And so we'll get a momentary stoppage here while the referees take a look.
Coach Lanham used his challenge card there. Referees are going to take a look back at the footage to see if there was in fact a takedown there towards the end.
Looking on as the replay is examined, and we'll get another look ourselves.
He comes down. He doesn't quite get control of the hips there, so he comes around and locks around the body, but Daniel's still got that arm hooked in, and Kasper didn't have, control of the hips or control of both legs to get a takedown there.
Looked like the right call.
Yeah.
Not to award the points. So it looks like, from what you can tell, Dak, we'll head to the second period 0-0.
That's right.
Been impressed thus far with Daniel's mobility.
He's an agile, big guy.
This is more movement than you're probably going to see in most heavyweight matches as we take another look at the replay.
He's cranking down on the knee. He goes and doubles off, but he lets go the other leg. You see, now he has just around the body. So no takedown. The referee confirms the call on the mat as no takedown, 0-0, second period. Daniel deferred. Kasper chooses down.
No riding time, obviously, because there were no takedowns in the first period. So Daniel with the first opportunity to try to rack some up in his favor. Kasper trying to get out of the grasp. Daniel takes him right back down again.
Those big mat returns, they, after a couple, they start getting in your head. And Daniel's a big, strong guy, but Kasper, he's tenacious. He never stops coming up. Daniel keeps, picking him up, returning him to the mat, but Kasper's not going to let that deter him. He's going to keep going up.
24 seconds now of riding time for Daniel. Kasper coming back up again.
Working into a tripod here. A lot of times you get to the tripod, you get hand control.
And Kasper gets the escape. So 1-0 for the nation's number 4 heavyweight, but 37 seconds of riding time for Daniel. Obviously not enough to earn the point just yet, but another takedown in 23 seconds, and he's got a bonus point.
That's right, and these guys are pretty evenly matched on their feet, as we saw in the first period. Neither one able to take the other down. So this second period and the third period is going to be big to see if one of these guys can edge the other one out and get a takedown.
Under 50 seconds to go in the second period. Great match here at heavyweight.
Yeah.
Daniel is big.
He is. He's a big guy. He weighed in at 237.5 pounds. Kasper's able to fight that takedown off.
It almost looked like he was thinking about the throw, and that, I think, is why Daniel stopped his forward momentum. Really a smart play by Daniel at that point.
Yeah. Kasper comes up to the body. Now they're in a bit of a body clinch here. Kasper's very good with his body lock. He looks to come down to the hips, suck the guy in, and hook the leg to come down for a takedown.
And that is how we will end the second period. I think this match has been well thought out by Daniel. Recognized when he was about to get thrown. Most guys might just kind of try to keep running into that takedown, and he would have run right into a trap, it looked like.
Right, yeah. He didn't take the bait, and that's a smart move on his part. He's obviously studied Kasper, knows that those is one of the positions that he's gotten a lot of his throws in.
Kasper trying to hold on now to Daniel. Working down that riding time. Kasper going for the throw. Daniel holding him off temporarily and getting the escape. So you can see both guys. This is going to come down to the last few seconds. You get the feeling. 1:30 to go in the third period. 1-1 is the score. Riding time, no issue. Could see our first overtime match of the evening in the last match of the evening. Daniel in on a shot on Kasper.
Now Kasper, he's blocking that elbow and coming behind for the crotch lock. What he's going to try to do is circle behind. Daniel jumped and rolled around, but Kasper came up here. He's kicking the foot to get his, kicking the arm to get his foot free, and he's trying to dig underneath that leg.
Another stalemate. Seems appropriate for the match so far. 59 seconds to go. The wrestlers will stand up in the center of the mat. 1-1 the score.
Daniel's wrestling a very smart match here. Kasper in on a deep double, and he gets the takedown.
First takedown of the match with 46 to go in the third period. And now Kasper will work on the riding time. No, he can't get a full minute, so he cannot get a riding time point, but he can prevent Daniel from getting one. And does. So riding time not going to be a factor. 3-1 the score with under 30 seconds to go.
He's going to try and ride him out here. Maybe look for a tilt. He's got to return him to the mat as he did to avoid that stall warning.
3-1 the score. A late takedown the difference.
And that's the tenacity of Kasper. He's constantly working to improve and score.
And that is how it's going to end. Kasper gets the win in the heavyweight match. North Carolina gets the win from a team perspective.
25-15.
A solid win for the Tar Heels. Bonus points from Heilman at 149. The pin at 165 from Devin Kane.